This is insane, but it's 100% real. Long before humans, Earth was crawling with predators so massive, so terrifying, that even dinosaurs weren't the scariest things alive. Fossils prove it. Snakes longer than buses, crocodiles big enough to eat dinosaurs, and insects as tall as children. These monsters ruled our world, and their shadows still haunt science today. Let's start with number 10. Imagine walking through a swamp and realizing the water beside you is moving. Not from a current, not from a breeze, but from a serpent longer than a city bus. That was Titanoboa, the largest snake ever known, discovered through fossils in Colombia's Cerrejón coal mines. This giant lived around 60 million years ago, right after the dinosaurs were gone. And while today's anacondas already inspire fear, Titanoboa was in a league of its own. Stretching over 42 feet and weighing more than a ton, it could crush crocodile-like reptiles and massive turtles with its unbelievable strength. Scientists know this because they found its vertebrae so large, it reshaped our entire understanding of snake evolution. Think about it. This wasn't a predator hiding in the grass. This was a monster that could turn entire swamps into its hunting ground. Even its size tells us about Earth's climate back then. Only a much hotter, more oxygen-rich world could have supported a snake that huge. Titanoboa didn't need venom. It didn't need speed. It relied on pure power. Once wrapped around its prey, escape was impossible. Fossil evidence shows it dominated its environment completely, ruling the wetlands like no other. So whenever you look at an anaconda today, remember, they are only shadows of what Titanoboa once was. Picture an ocean where sharks don't rule. Instead, an armored monster swims in silence, jaws like steel traps strong enough to slice through bone. That was Deadliest, a prehistoric fish that lived 360 million years ago, during the Devonian period. At up to 30 feet long, it wasn't just big, it was terrifyingly efficient. Unlike most fish, Deadliest didn't have regular teeth. Instead, its jaws were made of sharp, bony plates. When those plates slammed shut, they worked like giant shears, cutting through flesh and armor with surgical precision. Scientists estimate its bite force was among the most powerful ever recorded, rivaling even today's top predators. What makes it even scarier is how it hunted. Fossils reveal scratches and gouges from its own jaws, showing it wasn't afraid to attack anything, including members of its own species. In a world filled with armored fish and strange marine creatures, Deadliest sat at the top. Nothing stood a chance. And there's a psychological layer here too. When we look at sharks today, their sleek bodies and teeth already trigger fear. Now imagine a shark-like creature, double the bulk, covered in armor, and armed with a guillotine for a mouth. That's the shadow Deadliest leaves in our minds. The oceans of the Devonian were ruled not by stealth, but by brute force. Deadliest didn't just survive, it redefined what it meant to be a predator. Now imagine standing on a beach, and knowing somewhere beneath those waves, a shadow the size of a bus is circling. That wasn't fear of the unknown, it was the reality of Megalodon. This was the largest shark to ever live, from about 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Megalodon ruled Earth's oceans, fossilized teeth some over 7 inches. Long tell us this predator grew up to 60 feet in length, dwarfing the great white shark we fear today. Its jaws could open wide enough to swallow 2 people side by side. With a bite force of over 40,000 pounds, Megalodon could crush whale bones with ease. Fossil evidence even shows ancient whale skeletons marked with unmistakable Megalodon bite scars. But what made it truly terrifying wasn't just size, it was dominance. This shark controlled entire marine ecosystems. Wherever whales migrated, Megalodon followed. It targeted the young, the weak, and sometimes even full-grown adults. Its hunting strategy shaped how marine mammals evolved, forcing them to change migration and breeding patterns to survive. Psychologically, Megalodon triggers a primal fear that lingers in us today. Every time we look into the deep ocean and see only darkness, part of that fear comes from knowing creatures. Like Megalodon once lurked there unseen, unstoppable. It wasn't just another predator. It was the ocean's ultimate ruler. And while it disappeared millions of years ago, its legend still makes us look twice at the waves. If the ocean feels endless today, imagine it 160 million years ago, where every ripple could hide. A monster with jaws big enough to tear apart another reptile. That monster was Megalodon, a marine reptile from the Jurassic period. While not the largest plesiosaur ever, fossils suggest it could reach 25 feet long, with some estimates pointing to even greater sizes. Its entire body was built for one purpose: powerful hunting in the open seas. With 4 enormous flippers, Megalodon moved through the water like a torpedo. Unlike sharks that rely on sudden bursts, this reptile had endurance and control, making it a master ambusher. Its skull alone could stretch nearly 5 feet, packed with sharp conical teeth designed to grip slippery prey like fish, squid, and even other marine reptiles. What makes it terrifying isn't just the bite, it's the strategy. Paleontologists believe Megalodon used smell and pressure, sensitivity to detect prey from long distances. Imagine being a Jurassic creature, thinking the ocean is empty, only to realize too late that Megalodon had been tracking you all along. Psychologically, Megalodon taps into one of humanity's deepest fears: being hunted in a place where escape feels impossible. The ocean offers no hiding, no trees to climb, no caves to run into, just open water. And in that water, Megalodon was king. It reminds us that in Earth's history, some of the most dangerous hunters weren't always on land. Sometimes they swam just beneath the surface, waiting in silence. On land, long before lions and wolves, there walked a beast with a skull so massive it looked like a weapon carved from stone. That was Sarcosuchus, a predator from the Eocene epoch, around 45 million years ago. Known mostly from a single giant skull found in Mongolia, this animal has puzzled scientists for decades. The skull alone measured almost 3 feet long, packed with thick, crushing teeth. Though its full body hasn't been completely reconstructed, evidence suggests Sarcosuchus could have been one of the largest terrestrial mammalian carnivores ever. Imagine something resembling a wolf mixed with a boar, but scaled up into a creature that could weigh nearly a ton. This was no lightweight hunter. It was raw muscle and power. What truly makes it frightening is its bite. Those broad molars weren't just for flesh. They were strong enough to crush bones and shells, meaning Sarcosuchus could eat almost anything in its path. Whether scavenging carcasses or hunting live prey, nothing was safe once its jaws clamped down. Psychologically, Sarcosuchus strikes a different chord than reptiles or sharks. It feels familiar. It looks closer to the mammals we know today, which makes imagining its size and power even more unsettling. It's like seeing a wolf, but one you could never fight or outrun. This beast shows us that after dinosaurs disappeared, nature didn't stop creating monsters. They simply took new forms, carrying forward the same terrifying rule: survival belongs to the strongest jaws. Now imagine walking across open grasslands and seeing a shadow racing toward you. Not a lion, not a wolf, but a bird taller than you, faster than you, and built to kill. These were the terror birds, officially known as Forus racidae. They lived in South America between 60 and 2 million years ago, long after the dinosaurs vanished. Some species stood nearly 10 feet tall, towering over most mammals of their time. With wings too small to fly, they relied on speed. Fossil evidence suggests they could sprint at frightening pace, chasing down prey with powerful legs. And then came the strike, a massive hooked beak swinging like an axe. One blow could stun or kill. Another could tear flesh apart in seconds. Unlike many predators, terror birds didn't need stealth. They owned the open plains, forcing smaller animals into constant fear. Their sharp eyesight gave them the advantage of spotting movement from far away, meaning escape was almost impossible. What makes them psychologically chilling is how familiar yet alien they feel. Birds today mostly inspire calm. Sparrows, parrots, even eagles. But they were reminders that evolution can twist something we find harmless into a nightmare predator. When you imagine a 10-foot bird sprinting toward you, the instinctive fear kicks in. Not because we've seen one, but because our brains know what it means. No tree high enough, no legs fast enough, no hope of escape. Terror birds prove that after dinosaurs, The age of monsters never really ended. It simply evolved feathers and kept running. Before dinosaurs even walked the earth, there was already a predator with saber-like fangs that could pierce straight through armor and bone. This was Gorgonops, a reptile-like mammal predator that lived nearly 260 million years ago during the late Permian period. At up to 10 feet long, it wasn't just one of the top hunters of its time. It was the terror of an entire ecosystem. Its most striking feature: two enormous canine teeth, sharp and curved, stretching far beyond its jawline. These fangs weren't for display. They were weapons designed to slash deep into prey and finish the job in moments. Fossil records from South Africa show Gorgonops as one of the earliest examples of saber-toothed predators, long before the famous saber-toothed cats appeared. Unlike lumbering reptiles, Gorgonops was agile. Its body design suggests it could move quickly, giving it an edge over sluggish plant eaters of the Permian. In a landscape filled with armored herbivores, it developed the tools and speed to strike where it hurt most. Psychologically, Gorgonops taps into an ancient fear, the realization that even before dinosaurs, life had already perfected the art of killing. It reminds us that first predators were not primitive, they were advanced hunters, built for efficiency. And here's the chilling truth: Gorgonops was wiped out not by rivals, but by the Permian extinction, the deadliest event in Earth's history. If not for that catastrophe, creatures like this might have shaped evolution in ways we can barely imagine today. Gorgonops shows us that monsters don't wait for the spotlight of history. They emerge whenever survival demands them. If you think crocodiles today are scary, imagine one twice their length, waiting silently in the water, big enough to drag a dinosaur to its death. That was sarcosuchus, better known as super croc, living about 112 million years ago in what is now Africa and South America. This predator grew nearly 40 feet long and weighed up to 8 tons. It wasn't just a crocodile, it was a tank built for ambush. Fossil discoveries reveal a jaw lined with over 100 teeth, perfect for gripping prey. Unlike modern crocs with narrow snouts, sarcosuchus had a broad, heavy one, giving it incredible crushing power. Scientists believe it hunted massive fish, but it was more than capable of dragging unsuspecting dinosaurs that came too close to the riverbank. What makes sarcosuchus so terrifying is its patience. Like crocodiles today, it didn't chase, it waited, hidden beneath the surface, motionless, until the exact second to strike. And when it struck, escape was impossible. Psychologically, sarcosuchus awakens one of our oldest fears: the unseen predator. We already dread rivers in parts of the world where crocodiles live. Now scale that fear up. Imagine a creature so big it could capsize boats, so strong it could shatter bone in a single bite. That was reality for anything sharing its waters. Sarcosuchus wasn't just a predator. It was a reminder that even land wasn't safe. The water's edge became a death trap, and for millions of years it ruled rivers with absolute power. Bigger than T-Rex, stranger than any dinosaur you've seen, and dangerous both on land and in water. That was Spinosaurus, a predator from about 100 million years ago, during the Cretaceous period. Reaching lengths of 50 to 60 feet, it was the largest carnivorous dinosaur ever discovered, outclassing even the mighty T-Rex. What made Spinosaurus unique was its lifestyle. Fossil evidence, including its crocodile-like skull and dense bones, shows it was semi-aquatic. This wasn't a hunter limited to one world. It could swim rivers, chase massive fish, and possibly ambush land animals that ventured too close to the water's edge. Its most striking feature was the enormous sail on its back, formed by elongated spines. Scientists still debate its purpose: display, thermoregulation, or intimidation. But whatever the reason, it gave Spinosaurus a silhouette no creature could ignore. Its skull, long and narrow, held conical teeth perfect for gripping slippery prey. Picture a predator the size of a bus, snapping fish the size of cars, or lunging upward to take down a passing dinosaur. Few rivals could compete with its size or versatility. Psychologically, Spinosaurus frightens us because it breaks the rules. We expect giant predators to be land hunters like T-Rex, but Spinosaurus moved fluidly between land and water, leaving no safe ground for prey. It blurs the line of what we think a dinosaur should be, making it feel alien, unpredictable and unstoppable. Spinosaurus wasn't just a giant, it was a hybrid terror, a reminder that nature sometimes builds creatures beyond imagination. Now picture walking through a forest and hearing the crack of branches. You look down expecting a snake. Instead, a millipede longer than you is crawling across the ground. This was arthropleura, an ancient arthropod that lived about 300 million years ago, during the Carboniferous period. Unlike dinosaurs or reptiles, it wasn't a giant hunter of the seas or skies. It was a colossal crawler, stretching over 8 feet in length, making it the largest millipede to ever exist. Fossil tracks found in Europe prove its size. Imagine a trail in the mud, as wide as a human footpath, left not by people but by a giant insect-like creature. Scientists believe arthropleura mostly fed on plants, possibly rotting wood and vegetation, but its sheer appearance makes it one of the most unsettling creatures in Earth's history. What makes it terrifying isn't the diet, it's the psychology. Our brains are wired to react to insects and crawlers with unease. Now magnify that fear into something as long as a car, armored in plates with countless legs moving in perfect rhythm. Even knowing it wasn't a predator doesn't make the image less disturbing. Arthropleura thrived in a world rich with oxygen, which allowed insects and arthropods to grow to massive sizes. And while it may not have hunted like a crocodile or shark, it ruled the forest floor in its own way, untouchable, unstoppable, unforgettable. Sometimes the scariest creatures aren't the ones with sharp teeth, but the ones that make you question if you'd ever feel safe sharing the ground with them.